they've obviously had a very long day. That's somewhat unusual. They appear to have started before 9 a.m., so I tried not to do any math in public, but at my count, that is over 7.5 hours. That's a long day. So there are three possibilities. They weren't asked to vote on anything. They voted a public indictment, and they voted a sealed indictment. The one option that seems unlikely, unless we hear it, for short order, is that they voted a public indictment, because that's something that would have to be filed and everyone would see it. So we just don't know if it's that they weren't asked to vote at all, or whether they voted a sealed indictment, which is something they did in the Mar-a-Lago documents case. But it's clear, no matter what, for those people wondering if there's movement, there clearly is, based on the long day and the fact that the defense camp made its sort of last-ditch appeal to Jack Smith's office. But it's still a wait and see to know when the former president is going to be charged for the third time in history.
Andrew Weissman, if they went with option one and did not vote today, what would happen next?
Based on the fact that the defense lawyers spoke to Jack Smith's office, assuming that didn't lead to any headway, they may ask to speak to Maine Justice. The lawyers at Maine Justice have a limited role under the special counsel rules, and that is to determine whether what Jack Smith is doing is such an abuse of discretion that they will say, no, you cannot go forward with all of it or some part of it. As we know from last time, that also did not avail the defense team, but I would expect them to try to meet with Marshall Miller, who is the most senior sort of career person at the department, who, by reports, was the person they met with last time. So I think that's the next thing we might see. That will be in very short order. That is not a long delay. I would imagine that there would be a very short leash on the amount of time that the defense is given to make that final appeal. And then the grand jury sits on Tuesdays and Thursdays, so they could return on Tuesday. It is also possible, we used to do this, that you ask the grand jury to come in on a day that they are not normally scheduled. If there's some very good reason for it, you see if the grand jurors are willing to meet on a day that they're not normally required to come in. Just to throw another sort of option out there, but that is something that from time to time does happen.
So if they, I think it was number two,